Hi, everyone. Welcome back
Welcome back.
to Left, Wrong, and Center.
Welcome back.
It's been a minute.
It's been 6 weeks.
I posted something on my social medias a few weeks ago, but I got really ill, and then I was in 2 shows back-to-back here in Erie, Pennsylvania. We have a thriving arts scene, and I did 2 shows, and both of them were huge vocal shows for me. So I had to rest the instrument. I had to protect the vocal folds.
You had to protect the pipes.
Had to make sure that I could sing and scream effectively, and I think I did.
Tell us about them, Kyle. Tell
us about the show.
Yeah, the 2 shows.
Do people care?
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think people care.
I think
I'll
people
tell people. So I did the Da Vinci Code,
where he was the albino freak.
That's why my hair is blonde. For anybody watching this, I played Silas in that show.
The albino freak.
And then we closed that
he's
one.
Not a freak because he's albino. He's just albino, and a freak.
He's a religious fanatic.
Yeah.
That was an interesting show to do, but that was a lot of screaming,
Lots of screaming.
actual speak screaming for me. And then we went right into Rock of Ages, the musical,
Which
at a
was lot of
different
fun.
theater.
Yes.
Which I played Drew, who kind of vocally, I don't want to say carries the show, but it's a big
show.
Big
vocal.
sing for me. And doing them back to back was quite something.
Mm-hmm.
I popped myself on a little steroid in between. And yeah, so that's why it's been a minute since we've recorded this. It's exclusively my fault. Blame the arts.
Yeah, I mean, I was super busy too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Living life.
But I feel like a lot has happened, and there's no way that we're going to be able to get everything into an episode.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I guess there's some greatest hits we could probably talk about.
We can do the rapid fire of all the crazy crap that's been up in the news. And before we begin, I mean, we're in August of 2025. This is when usually the approval rating for the incumbent president starts crapping the bed pretty hard. So I think we're in that stage right now.
Starts crapping the bed. Well, so I mean, we can start on that because when Trump got elected and when we had the inauguration, I was in a show then too. I remember watching. If anybody knows the musical Waitress, I was in the musical Waitress in January, and we had one of our final dress rehearsals on Inauguration Day, and I remember watching one of the scenes that I wasn't in from the wing, and I was like, I announced the podcast that day.
Yeah, that's right. At noon.
Yeah.
I had an insurance meeting at noon on January 20th.
But I was watching my friend Becca sing She Used to Be Mine, and I remember going, oh, I'm really going to need this because this year, because I kept saying the first year is going to be the hardest. Emotionally,
yeah.
There's a lot of shit. It was drama with his
From
first term
day
right
one.
until the end. So
Right.
When you think you're safe, you're not. I remember canvassing with Julie Slomsky here in September of 2020, and Ruth Bader Ginsburg died.
Yeah, that's right.
While we were out canvassing, and it's the victory that came a couple weeks later was obviously incredible and felt really,
Right.
really great. But then it was they rushed through, and we got Amy Coney Barrett, and look what's happening. So
exactly.
The first year, in my mind, is the hardest because there's the least you can do about it.
Yeah.
In this first year, you kind of have to sit and watch all the crap overtake. But then, speaking of approval, that's what I'm tying this into. There have been, blue sky. I only pop on there every now and then. But it is the left wing version of. It's equally annoying for other reasons, but I follow a couple of pollsters on there, and his numbers are all over the place. There are some pollsters that I see that have his numbers at 45% approval, 55% disapproval, which is obviously not amazing, but it's also that's
high.
Not bad. And then there's others. For him, yeah. And then there's other pollsters that have him in the 30s. I've seen repeated 37s, 38s, 39s, and high 50s disapproval. I don't know what to believe at this point. My gut feeling on where we are with how we feel about Trump and Republicans right now is that people hate them. People hate Democrats too. Mm-hmm. And I also
people hate the establishment.
The thing that I keep saying to people though, when they're sharing these approval polls and they're like, "Oh, look at that, his numbers are dropping." People and he's underwater on all these issues. I'm like, none of it matters.
Right.
None of this shit matters until the people who hate him, that disapproval number, manage to coalesce around somebody. And if you remember, Trump's numbers all through his first term were what, like 42, 43% approval consistently?
Yeah, 39 to about 45.
And he got about 47% of the vote in 2020, and Joe Biden got 51.5. It was like,
I think so.
So it's like Joe Biden managed to coalesce just enough people.
Right, which is all that matters.
It's all that matters, but it's also like, don't celebrate when you see these low numbers. I mean I don't want to be that person.
No,
like,
but
a win's a win.
Anything. No, a win's a win, but the approval rating doesn't mean anything.
The approval,
and that's there's example after example after example of that across the world.
Right.
Like if you look at the French President Macron in 2022, his approval rating was like 21%, but he still won.
Right.
Because people are still. I think when people are asked this question, it's kind of trendy and on brand for people to be like, oh, I don't approve of them. I don't like them.
I hate the president.
Yeah, I hate the president. But then when it comes time to vote, I'm going to go vote for him.
And even like last fall, if you looked at Joe Biden's approval numbers, they were like 39%, and Kamala Harris got 48% of the vote.
Right. And that was a bunch of people, I don't think everyone was crazy. It's the same thing with Trump. There are people who vote for Trump who are not crazy about him, and they vote for him for whatever reason. Same thing with our side as well.
Yeah. So all of that to say,
don't take the polls too
literally. I'm happy to see that people don't like him. That's always reassuring. Not reassuring, but it feels good to be like. It feels good as as the petty, vindictive person that I sometimes can turn into.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, I'm at a constant like I almost should have called this podcast "We Told You," because that's what the phrase that I'm sharing the most often.
I see that. Yeah.
We told you, we told you, we told you. So it's like it is vindicating, and then it's also like it's vindicating in all the worst ways, because it's like we were right about absolutely everything, and yet it brings no joy to see it happen.
No, it's actually very depressing.
It's incredibly depressing.
I just was watching so I follow an account that follows conflict overseas. So it shows like frontline footage from Ukraine. It shows frontline footage from Israel, Hamas, like fighting, right?
Yeah.
And they've started posting, because this is how it's being viewed overseas. It's a Ukrainian outlet. It's posting ICE raids. And it just really is depressing me, just watching the footage of these people being rounded up who are, I'm sure maybe there's some of them who are criminals, but the way I'm watching these videos, it doesn't look like they're IDing anyone. They're just grabbing everyone.
People.
And the way they're grabbing them, they're masked, they're wearing military equipment. I mean, the guy worked outside of Home Depot wanting to get a job, and I don't think he's carrying a gun. There's no reason to look like you're about to roll into Fallujah. So It's been pretty sad to see. So we're in a really weird trajectory, I think.
Well, what has become very clear to me, the first time. It's just comparing Trump 1 to Trump 2 is fascinating in all the worst ways.
Right.
I think when Trump 1 happened, like at this stage in his presidency, it was like he was like the punchline of jokes. Like we were all like, like calling him the Orange Man was like so hilarious. Like it was so daring, and now it's like you have people who are still locked in that 2015, 2016 mindset where it's like, oh, he just has no decency. I'm clutching my pearls. He's just so awful. And then you have people who are mad. And then you have people who like I'm kind of recognizing like we are in a new era of history.
We are.
Like this is not. I keep seeing
the old times are done.
The old times are done. But we've been here before. It's happened before.
Well, and that's not to keep interrupting, but that's something that I think people need to keep in mind. We've been here before.
Not to this degree.
There was a civil war once, but
yes, but that
but yes,
that's not business as usual.
Yeah, correct. But vitriol like this has been around in American politics, and it's something that we need to keep very aware of.
Yeah,
I want to.
No, it's fine, and you will agree with me on this too. Like I wasn't around in the '80s, but like the Democrats were locked out of the White House for 12 years, and based on everything I've read about that era of history, like 92 happened, and it just so happened that there was like an unpopular war. The economy started not doing well. George H.W. Bush and his no new taxes promise, he ended up, so like he became very unpopular, and that gave Bill Clinton an opening. But Bill Clinton won that election with, was it 43% of the vote?
Yeah, because he never won a majority of the vote.
And it's like the Democratic Party, like Bill Clinton saved the Democratic Party in 1992, but like there was no guarantee of that happening.
Well, in the infighting, I want to keep in mind, so I'm a history guy, that's something I want to always discuss, is in the 1980s and 1970s, 1960s, there were coalitions in the Democratic Party. The permanent Democratic Congress that everyone always talks about from 1954 to 1994, it was there were conservative Democrats, there were liberal Democrats, and then on the flip side, there were liberal Republicans and conservative Republicans. So it wasn't as hyper-partisan.
Wasn't
now,
lockstep. Yeah.
But so the liberal Republicans would vote with the liberal Democrats for things, and the conservative Dems would vote with the conservative Republicans for things. And that's the thing that, like, we're going through a transition where I think there's a lot of finger pointing, and you're terrible, you're terrible. The progressives ruin this. The moderates are horrible, which I know we're going to talk about. And I think we've been here before, and the parties are always reevaluating and recalibrating.
But when I say we haven't been here before, like, I keep seeing there's this girl on TikTok that I really, really like, and I can't remember her name, but she posts a lot of videos that, like, she talks about 2028 and the next phase, like what's next for us in terms of presidential politics. There's a lot of people who think that we have no chance in 2028. There's a lot of people who think it's a given that we're going to win in 2028 after all of this. I don't know what I believe right now, but, like, people in 2017, I feel like at this point it was like, we just want to get back to, like, a normal leader. We hate him. He's, and that ended up happening sort of.
Kind of.
And I don't think this time is going to be like that.
Well,
I think
the difference is that in 2017, there was still the establishment Republicans that were still in office.
Yeah.
You had Paul Ryan as the speaker, who, again, he's not my favorite person, but he had some principles to him. You had, in the Senate, you had people like Bob Corker from Tennessee. So Trump's worst ideas usually were shot down by his own party. Now, the supermajority of both chambers, which he has, are in lockstep with him, including the freshman senators from swing states who got elected, who should be voting as moderates, who are voting as complete conservatives.
Right, and I was out on State the other day, and there's a big "Thank you, Senator McCormick" billboard. So they're pushing the propaganda too.
Yeah.
But I just mean, like, in 2028, let's say a Democratic president is elected. I'm not even going to get into their ideology.
Yeah, right.
That person, we've heard it so many times before, but it's like that person's going to have to clean up the mess of
literally they are.
Yes, but the mess that is being created in the first 6 months is like, this is like a generation's kind of thing. This is not a 4 years. This is not an 8 years. This is not one president can fix all of the, like, we are talking about a generational shift.
Right. My kids will be dealing with the repercussions of this, and their kids too.
Yeah.
When it comes to the national debt, things like that.
And the institutions that are being wiped away.
Correct.
Entitlement cuts. I mean, it's
jaw dropping.
It's pretty.
Summer's not been fun. I've been trying to actually avoid watching things.
It's a hard time to be anything but a monster, is what I keep saying.
Yeah, I mean, the inmates are running the asylum, and I mean, we're out of power. And I think I sent something to you the other day where people are really angry. The liberal base, which we're part of, is really angry, which we're angry. The conservative base is really angry.
They're always angry.
They're always angry. But someone went to John Ossoff's town hall in Georgia and was like, you need to impeach him. You need to do this. You're not doing enough. You're not doing this. Like, basically screaming at him. Being like, I want to vote for you, but you're not.
That's an old clip, by the way. But yeah.
Oh, is it? It's not 2024?
It's from this year.
Okay.
I think that happened in, like, February or March.
Okay.
That was a long way.
It's still the same point. But it went re-viral.
It went re-viral. But, like, the point that I'm trying to make to you is, like, those clips echo the people's comments on Facebook. It's all of these people it's a lot of older people who have the right intentions, but he'll do anything. Trump will do anything. And the comments are impeach, remove, arrest. And it's like, I don't know what you think you're doing.
Right.
Beyond just like that's not happening because we can't right now. We don't have the numbers.
If we had the majorities in both chambers, we still wouldn't be able to do it.
Right.
You have to have 67 senators.
Right.
So, I mean, the thing is, so my position.
But, like, people are operating in the old mentality.
They're operating in the old mentality. They think that things can just be wiped away. It's a new world, and I think you're seeing the new generation stepping up and wanting to reclaim reclaim the leadership positions.
Yeah.
I see a lot of people who are very frustrated about what's going on. but they're kind of spinning in the mud. And then I see some people, and I'm gonna give like Mamdani credit, or I give Alyssa Slotkin credit. You can, and this new guy James Tallarico from Texas.
Yeah, he's great.
He's great. They're trying to do something different than that's what's been done.
Yep.
And that's what I think you're gonna see in the future. But the answer that I want to hear from a elected leader in the future, federally, state, local, whatever, is they need to make the voters feel a responsibility too. You can't just elect someone, and that's where you and I think I agree. Like when someone's like, I'm going to promise you this, this, and this, that's not how it works. Like the politician needs to say, elect me, elect a Democratic House, elect a Democratic Senate, and let's go get to work to solve some of these issues. And they just need to level with people, because the things that they're putting in their budget this year that passed, the Republicans, and are not going to be easily undone.
Yep.
And the things that you're seeing in Texas, which what we're talking about, like the Texas gerrymander, that's not going to be undone in the near future.
Right.
It actually probably will get worse in the next decade. So we have to fight fire with fire, and that's something I've been really loving about Gavin Newsom and J.B. Pritzker coming out, and they're saying, listen, I'm tired of fighting with our hands tied behind our back. If they're going to gerrymander something, let's gerrymander too.
Yeah.
And I don't agree with gerrymandering. I wish more seats were competitive.
But Democrats tried to end it in 2021.
We always try to end it.
Yeah.
And then we never get any
I'm
votes.
fully in favor of it right now. And what
Right.
and I know you are too, but
Yes.
like what I was saying earlier was like,
Yeah.
looking at 2028, I absolutely I'm in a place where I'm like, I will go where the center of gravity of the party goes to oust these people. And that might sound like I'm spineless. It might sound like I have no principles, but like I personally want revenge. I want all these people punished. I want a Democratic president in 2028. I want a Democratic attorney general in 2028 that, I mean, I want to. The world keeps spinning forward.
To go after.
But I want them to go after these people. I want these people thrown in jail. I'm not holding my breath. But like, I want an angry 2028 candidate, and I think that's what a lot of people are going to want. It's always the independents and the people that, well, we've got to be fair. And it's like, how long will that live? Because I think last time it was like, it was very like, we like Joe Biden because, you know, he's not villainizing people on the right, and he's talking to everybody and whatever. I want somebody that's going to take a flamethrower to MAGA and kind of fight fire with fire, like you said. And talking about the gerrymander, Gavin Newsom is a psychopath, and I love that. I love that he's a psychopath.
Gruesome Newsom.
I love that he's like threatening to gerrymander California, and I hope he does it. And what I hope he does, have you seen that, like the wet dream map of like 52 Democratic seats and 0 Republican seats?
And
I hope he does it. I hope he does it.
Right.
I want every single one of those motherfuckers gerrymandered out of their seats. I don't want any Republicans in a blue state like California, because if they're going to do that to us in Texas, where the vote total, I mean, we saw some backsliding in 2024, but like, Trump won by 13 points. Harris won California by 20. So if you want to like
play this game,
the big blue state that dictates so much of the economy, one of the biggest economies in the world, make it bluer. Make it blue. Take all the Republicans out of power. Illinois, Maryland, New York. I mean, Hochul should have done this in 22.
Yeah.
But she didn't. And now she's still
because we were playing by the old rules.
Right. But she's still an awkward messenger. Like, I've watched these clips with her.
She's very excited to say swear words. You can tell.
Yeah. She gets really, but like, and I'm not looking at Hochul like, oh, I love her. But like,
good for her.
I like that she, in her state, knowing that she's going to be limited by the fact that she is a little bit awkward, she is kind of the old guard. She is adapting and she's adjusting, and she's saying what you just said. I'm tired of fighting with my hand behind my back. It might be said awkwardly, but like, I like that she's like looking into it. Look, and I hope they do more than look into it. And that's going to be the test for me, because the Wisconsin Supreme Court has not taken the case to re-gerrymander Wisconsin, which they should be doing.
Or give fair districts.
To Wisconsin, because Wisconsin is gerrymandered in favor of Republicans right now and should not be.
Yes.
That is a failure.
Yep.
I'm not a lawyer, but like, that is a failure on the part of the Wisconsin Supreme Court. And it's a very rare instance in which I say, okay, you were elected. Why are you choosing, like, this is a failure on the part of the Democratic Supreme Court, the Democratic controlled Supreme Court in Wisconsin. So Gruesome Newsom, go for it.
Yeah.
JB Pritzker, go for it. Kathy Hochul, go for it. Westmore, go for it. These places where we have the majorities. I mean, we could potentially do it in Virginia if we win. But it's like, I think we are limited in terms of how many states we can actually do this in.
We're very limited, and they can do it in more states. And the thing that I want to say is...
With less seats, though.
With less seats. But we also have to be very careful. I agree with most of what you just said.
Yeah.
I think that we have to play... I do... It's little old centrist Grant, but, I want to work together with people. I want to get things done. But if people don't want to do that, then I'm all for with what you're wanting to do.
That's how I feel
in
the best of times, and that's how I felt kind of in 2020.
Well, I agree with compromise, right? So I'm giving a really hyper local example, but in the state Senate right now, there's a proposal from the Republicans to raise the minimum wage to $11 an hour, right? And the Democrats have one to do $15 an hour, the minimum wage. Why can't they just sit down and say, okay, we're going to do $12 an hour, raise it some? That's what I mean when I says work together, right? If you need to raise the minimum wage, take whatever you can get and pass it, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I get it.
So it can't be moral high ground all the time.
Yeah.
But same with marijuana. There's a proposal in the state Senate, which is Republican, and the Democrat version is very different.
Yeah.
Find a common ground where you can get something done and actually get it done. That's what I mean by that when I want to work together with people. But you can't work together with people who are I'm a racist or I hate gay people.
Well, I want to be clear and say that when I say I want revenge and I want to punish people, I'm not. Even though in my personal life I am all about it, I don't want a politician that's going to go in there and punish people. I want the politicians and the elected officials and the figures that made all this possible punished.
Yeah,
I'm not saying we should go in there and
punish electorally.
Yes, and not care for people in our legislation.
Yeah.
But I want to see angry Democrats, and I think we're starting to see a bit of it.
Yeah.
People have been so people have been so mad since the beginning of the year of why aren't Democrats fighting back? And it's I've been so adamant about saying we don't have the power to do that federally right now. On the state level, we absolutely have. But it's taken a little bit of time to figure out what people want because there are, and we're still Kamala Harris announced her book and I immediately pre-ordered a signed copy. But two actually, one for me, one for my partner. But the amount of people who immediately took a flamethrower to her for writing a book. Why is she out there hawking a book? She hasn't said anything in the last 6 months. Blah, 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 blah.
She's a private citizen.
She's a private citizen because you put her there. And it's all these people. It's the TikTok leftists. It's the people who are literally responsible for her being a private citizen that are why is she doing all of this? And it's I'm also interested in that book because I'm I want to know what she's going to say. I want to know how honest she's going to be about the experience.
The other thing that I just find really laughable about the book conversation is that the reason why politicians write books is because there's a huge market for people who want to read it. So you complaining about I don't understand why this person's writing a book. They wouldn't have given her a book deal if they didn't know it was going to sell really well. People want to read it. That's this whole thing where it's oh, why is she writing a book? She didn't.
But what
she's going to write a book.
What I'm saying is, on the flip side of what we're talking about with the people who are playing by the old rules, these TikTok leftists are playing by the old rules.
Yeah.
On purpose. They know they are.
Right.
Because you watched the Colbert interview, right?
Yes, I did.
Kamala Harris is running for president again. Whether you think she should or not, that's absolutely the takeaway that I had from that interview.
Right.
I think it was cool that she went on that show and she said the system is broken. It was a little bit different from what we saw last year.
Right.
And what I've always said is now that she's decided she's not running for California governor, what I said was if she's going to run for president, she needs to start soon. She needs to break from Biden. She needs to be honest about what went wrong during their administration. Again, this is whether you think she should run or not. The decision lies with her. I think personally it's good for the party either way. If she does, because she's either going to run as kind of the fallen hero on the heels of a Republican administration, which both Clinton and Harris ran for president on the heels of a Democratic administration and lost because largely, that tends to happen.
Right.
But she can run that way. She will either be she'll either win or lose. And if she wins, she'll have won because she got the most votes. If she loses, the party makes a big show of saying, no, we're moving on from the past and here's who we select instead.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything wrong with it, but I'm excited. But like the point I was making about the TikTok leftists or whatever is like, there are people who just
won't let it go.
They won't let it go, but they exist only to tear down Democrats, which is not a new thing that I've said on this podcast. And I'm sick of it. We're moving on without them.
Yeah, and my thing with that is that I think there is constructive feedback for Democrats. Like, so I have issues with federal Democrats and state Democrats, right? Like, I have issues with them.
So what are some of those issues?
Well, like,
talk about it.
No, like, so I do, like, so I agree with parts of what the far lefties are saying about, you know, the Democrats aren't doing anything or blah, 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 blah. Like, you watch some of these committee hearings and the federal Democrats really think they got them. And I'm like, guys, like, you're not. I think that Democrats could be more effective messengers about what's happening, and they could be more less scripted is kind of my take. They all sound like they're in a law school class where they want to sound the smartest person in the room. That's one of my issues that I have for them. And I also think that they aren't offering realistic solutions to people's problems. And so I think there's a lot of rhetoric on the Democratic side that's like, healthcare is a universal right, which I agree with. But you're like, okay, so what do you want to do with healthcare? And they're like, Medicare for all, which, again, on the surface, I actually looked into it. Like, there's a way we could pay for it, but you have to tell people how to pay for it, and you have to be realistic with them about their taxes and things like that. I also think that this beautiful bill act or whatever, there are things in there that are not the end of the world, right? In my opinion.
Some things.
Right. The majority of it is bad.
Majority of it sucks.
But a good triangulation would be like, yes, I agree, no taxes on tips or overtime, even though there's like a lot of finite details there. But they're automatically going to, this takes away healthcare from people on Medicare or Medicaid. And this takes...
But that's messaging.
No, but the thing is, people don't want people on Medicaid. I don't know if you've ever talked to someone who is...
Except for the people who are on it. There's a lot of people on it.
They vote for Trump. I mean, that's the thing. So, I mean, you have to effectively message better than being like, this is taking away healthcare from people. No. This is taking healthcare away from people in government on Medicaid.
I think my fundamental problem with what you're saying is like, there's no way to win. There is no way to win.
Totally agree.
No, but like, we have created it ourselves. We've created the no-win mentality ourselves.
Well, and I'll say this. There's
an example.
Examples. Oh, go ahead.
Jinx.
Jinx, you owe me a soda. There's two examples I want to highlight real quick here. So I wasn't prepared to go after my what I have issues with the Democratic Party, but there's two examples of Democrats that I think are doing really good job messaging. And I know we've talked about him earlier. James Tallarico, if you've watched him in committee, obviously he sounds a little scripted, but that's how he talks. It's kind of like Pete. It's not Pete Buttigieg. It's very like, hello, I am here to ask questions. My favorite one that he had is they want to put the 10 Commandments up in Texas in every school, right?
Public school.
In public school.
Blatantly unconstitutional.
Yes, right. But I think they also have a "Don't Say Gay" bill in Texas. I'm pretty sure. And there's a clip of him where he's interviewed. Like they have like the Q&A session in their sessions, and he goes to the author. He's like, "So," he goes, "What is the?" And I don't know it off the top of my head. But what's the commandment about adultery? And the person's like, "Oh, it's this third commandment or whatever." He goes, "But in your other bill, we're not allowed to talk about sex to kindergartners." He goes, "So how are we going to explain what adultery is to kindergartners?" And the person's like flustered, and he's like, it's very smart messaging. The other last person I want to mention is Hunter Biden has some pretty good interviews.
That was a great interview.
Here's the deal. I'm not saying Hunter Biden should be running for office. I don't think he should be running for office. I don't think he's an effective messenger in that sense. But if you watch his interview with Channel 5, which is a alternative news network, the things he says, if you can take away all of the things that you know about Hunter in the sense that it's been weaponized in the last couple years about him, his answers are pretty spot on.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't give two craps what he wants to say.
Agreed.
The one thing that I really want to say here is the thing that really stuck out to me, and I was like, you know what, I've been saying this for years, is he goes after Elon Musk in the interview, and he goes, basically, he says, I think it's really rich that a guy from another country moved here, he was an illegal immigrant, his visa expired, and then he made billions off the American people, including our government subsidies, and now he wants to sit and tell us native-born Americans what to do with our lives while also hailing Hitler and being a lunatic. He goes, that's wrong. And it is wrong. And that's like not nativism. That's just the reality.
It's turning a little bit of the Republican talking point on its head.
It is. Don't tell
not that it matters to them.
No, right. But don't tell us what. That's what's been driving me insane about Elon Musk is like, you're like, and I believe in immigration, clearly.
Yeah.
But like, don't tell us about our country when you came in here and you've made money off of our backs and you've gotten subsidies from our tax dollars to make your company.
Yeah.
You have no right to do that.
Yeah.
Like, where did your grandpa fight in World War II? Did he? Oh, wait. Which side was he on? Oh, no. That's a problem. So
when you're talking about messengers, I want to talk, because you gave your examples. Alyssa Slotkin.
She's great.
She's great, consistently.
Yes.
She missed a vote in the Senate the other night.
I saw that.
For conditioning aid to Israel.
Yeah.
I don't want to get into that issue specifically.
I agree.
In this episode. We've kind of been putting it off a little bit.
There's really
we've talked about it, and then
to it. I mean, you're just gonna piss everyone off no matter what you say.
But she
It's
basically was like, yes, I would have voted to condition aid because of the whole Gaza is starving situation right now. And somebody commented. It was a very clear explanation of why she felt the way she felt.
Yeah. It was very long too.
Yeah. This was a Facebook post. Somebody commented and was like, well, I hope doing the late show was worth it. And I'm like, okay, so if she doesn't do the late show, the Democrats are bad messengers.
Right.
If you show up to do the work like Joe Biden did his 4 years, the no frills approach to to governing.
Right. Where you're actually doing your job all the time.
Gets you critiqued over your messaging.
Right.
And then you go on TV, you do interviews, which requires schmoozing. It requires being a little bit of a celebrity.
It's politics. Modern politics.
This is how it works.
Right.
And you do that, and then you're criticized for... And to be clear, I think Slotkin should have been present for the vote, if at all possible. But, like, there's... Again,
did it pass?
Again, we have created our own no-win... scenario where it's like we are... I understand pushing for better. I understand wanting better from your local leaders. I understand that only one side is receptive to that right now.
Yeah.
But, like... just constantly berating one side over and over and over again. And the other example is like Pete Buttigieg did an interview where he talked about trans people in sports, trans students in sports.
Oh, the flagrant one?
I don't remember who it was with, but I remember the headline on social media posted by them, whatever that publication is, was like pulled one of his quotes out, and it was like, Pete Buttigieg agrees that there are serious issues of fairness in trans students competing in sports. And so that's the headline that runs wild. I go on TikTok and it's all these people commentating, and then you get the never Pete people who it's like, I will never vote for this person. I will never vote for this person. And then you read the article, and his answer is essentially, I can understand why parents would feel that there are serious issues of fairness in whatever. This is why I believe this issue should be left to school boards, local, like...
NCAA, things like that.
Not become a federal issue and not be weaponized at the federal level like it has. That is about as good an answer as you're going to get on this issue right now from a Democrat, when our numbers are 22% of people are like, yeah!
We're doing great!
22% of people support this in the country. 49%, almost half of the country is against this right now.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say this as a gay person who knew I was gay a long time ago. Like... watching presidential candidates, even in retrospect, like watching the Clinton-Obama debates, like talk about like gay marriage, I never once was like, I will never vote for them because they don't support gay rights in 2008.
Right.
There were a lot of hearts and minds that had to change at the social level before that could be palatable for, like, Pete's answer is as progressive as I think you can expect right now, when that has been made a hot button issue by the right. And when the right was vindicated by making that a hot button issue because voters gave them power. So it's like people are like, this is not an issue. This is not an issue. That's true.
Yeah.
Yet it has been made an issue,
It's an
and
issue.
you have vindicated the people who made it an issue by letting them into office, by sitting home, not voting, whatever it is.
you wanted to do.
And I kind of want to tie this to the Sydney Sweeney thing that we wanted to talk about.
Yeah, and I just had two thoughts on what you just said.
Yeah.
Where Slotkin has been really, I think, has been a really good,
She's
effective messenger, and I know what she's doing, which she's trying, and she's not overt about it. I don't know if she's wanting to run for president or Senate majority or minority leader, something like that.
She'd be a great Senate majority leader.
She would be a great Senate majority leader, but she's going out and doing what everyone wants. She's not getting as much of attention as like Gavin Newsom or Pete Buttigieg is, but she's a woman from a swing state with a CIA, but military background, and she's talking about normal things. And I think that's the future of the Democratic Party in that sense, where she is. I could see her if I went to, go to church, I would see her, or I would go to the grocery store. I could see her walking down. You know what I mean? She's very relatable in that sense. And then the last thing I wanted to say with
her
that,
and Mikey Sherrill and Abigail Spanberger are my three.
And they were elected all in 2018. They're all the same kind of background.
They're cut from the same cloth.
And that's what I wanted to say earlier, where that's, I think, is the future of the Democratic Party. And there's men there too. They are women who really know how to message and how to communicate. Other than Alyssa, they're all moms. They all have kids. They are public servants. They gave their lives to their country. And I think that that's the future of the party in that sense. I think with Pete and Alyssa and Gavin and whoever else is doing the messaging, they are being effective, and I think a lot of people are ignoring them, or they're just doing what you're saying, where they're nitpicking what they're saying. But they are offering an alternative. I would like to see a little more detail with the alternative, but they are doing an alternative, which I think a lot of people are wanting.
I think Newsom's crushing it in that. I think
I really enjoy listening to him. Yeah, actually,
there are things I disagree with him on, but it's like that's going to happen, and I'm fine with it. And when you say the future of the party, like. I know I just mentioned the Sydney Sweeney thing that I do want to cover that, but I also like when you talk about the future of the party, I was having a conversation with two of my friends who usually listen to most of these. So if you're listening to this, you know who you are.
I don't know who you are, but
our group chat was popping off the other day because mamdani won his primary in New York, which we can talk about. And he's not gotten like the full support of Democrats. Like Cory Booker from New Jersey, by the way, New Jersey. So like what relevance is there? I guess there's relevance, but like Cory Booker is clearly angling for another presidential run.
Right.
Mamdani is kind of an unknown entity at this point. He makes a lot of people uncomfortable. Whether you agree with that or not, it is true.
It's true.
Whether it's right or not, it's true. He's polarizing right now. He's also running for mayor of New York City. This is not a national figure. This is not somebody that everyone should have to have an opinion on.
Well, and I'm going to say that and he's not going to be like a presidential candidate. Like he can't be.
He might be.
No, he can't be. He's a naturalized citizen.
Oh, he won't be a presidential candidate. I don't think I knew that.
Yeah, but sorry. But
somebody like him. But the point is like he's running for mayor of New York City. He's risen to prominence. He's gotten a lot of attention because of what he brought to the table. And there's many great things about how he campaigned, despite him not being my pick.
Yeah.
But like Cory Booker, Kathy Hochul, Hakeem Jeffries have all declined to endorse him at this stage. And they were like, I think one of the texts that I got from, he's in this group chat. I'm not going to name you, but you know who you are. He's very Gen Z. He's 26. So like, he's like
my age.
Yeah. And he's one of the funniest people I know. But like his response to everything that that upsets him in this realm is just like, oh, this person's going to hell. And it was like Cory Booker's going straight to hell. And I was like, listen, he said the same thing about Hakeem Jeffries. And this is someone who votes Democrat, straight Democrat always. And I was like, listen, I understand the frustration. I personally wish, even though we know Mamdani is not always a team player and has not gotten on board with normal Democrats, I kind of wish Hochul and Jeffries and Booker would be like, yep, he's our Democratic nominee. There are things we maybe have issues with, but we're going to support our Democratic nominee. But like, it's going to sort itself out. Like you have these more typical establishment Dems. I don't think Hakeem Jeffries is cut out for this moment. Personally, I really like him, and I liked him when Nancy Pelosi stepped aside. I don't think he's cut out for this moment in history.
Yeah.
But like,
same with Chuck Schumer.
Yeah, Chuck Schumer, same. Yeah. I don't think that it's bad for them to not endorse, because if Mamdani ends up winning, which he will, and does a good job, that path will be vindicated.
Yeah.
And then that will become kind of the way we go. I think it's okay right now to hedge bets a little bit and say, okay, I'm not personally comfortable with this person enough to endorse them at this stage. We will see what happens.
But the thing is, the flip side of this is and again, Andrew Cuomo was not my choice either. But if Andrew Cuomo won the Democratic nomination, all the DSA people would be endorsing him. So it's the same flip of the coin.
And I have to say, I find it absolutely fascinating. I was, ironically fascinating, because of course this is so predictable. But like, Mamdani's a star. He was on TV, and I think it's hilarious that like he's on like CNN and MSNBC and whatever. And these anchors clearly have their talking points like written out. They've been told you have to ask these things. They've been told you have to compare to Soviet Russia. Like,
government-run grocery stores is a little Soviet.
I know, but we're not getting into that right now. But you've been told you have to say these buzzwords to scare people.
Yeah.
He smiles at them and he's like, "Listen, this is what," and it's like, whether you agree with him or not, he's a star. He's very good on TV. He's very good at fielding questions. He's very good at when people approach him. Those are a lot of the positives that I feel about him. When we talk about messaging, he's great at messaging.
I think if someone...
hold on. What I was going to say was the comments are... well, what happened to vote blue no matter who? Isn't that what the establishment Dems said to all of us? And it's like, but you didn't.
Yeah, right.
So... you didn't vote blue no matter who. You didn't show up for Kamala. You didn't show up for Hillary. So
you didn't show up for Joe Biden.
And you suddenly expect people to just hop on board with your candidate. And there are a lot of people in New York, very liberal place, a lot of liberal people who are like, I don't know. Maybe, probably, possibly, but give me a minute to adjust. Give me a minute to see what he has to say. And it's like, that's what you wanted for yourself.
Right.
Like the whole earn my vote mentality. I think there's merit to the earn my vote mentality, but I think when you get down to a general election, it's game time.
Yeah.
And you support your side. But like,
I think if Andrew
it's just hilarious.
or Adams, if one of them dropped out, one of the other, I would actually, and you were going to disagree with me on this. If Andrew Cuomo dropped out, I actually think Eric Adams would win the race.
I don't know about that.
I really do.
Mamdani's polling really high in like a 4-way race.
I'm saying if it was a three-way race where the Republican Eric Adams and Mamdani, I think Eric Adams would win.
I'm curious to see how it shakes out, but I do think Mamdani's going to end up winning.
Yeah, I think
it's going to be,
and I think he's going to be the same as Brandon Johnson in Chicago, who has a 4% approval rating. I think that the mayorship, and this is what we've talked about before, being a mayor, no matter where you are, it is a very unpopular job.
Right.
Because you are literally making an impact on people's lives.
You're the direct,
People know you.
Yeah.
And I hate to say this, but I don't think he's cut out for it. I don't think he has the experience, and I think he's going to struggle really hard. I think the one thing that might save him, similar to kind of how Bernie Sanders has become a celebrity, is the media apparatus around them. Like Bernie produces really slick videos and has basically, what do you call it when you give yourself a reputation? Like he's
built a brand.
Bernie is a brand.
Yep.
Even though Bernie, like everyone's like, oh my God, he's so consistent. I'm like, he's not. Like he has been consistent on certain things, but the things you're saying he's so consistent on.
Yeah.
Like he voted for Defense of Marriage Act. He was against gun control. Like there's things in his record that is real.
Right.
Like that he's not consistent on. And that's okay. Mamdani, I think, has a brand that could withstand that. But when crime goes up or the city streets are falling apart, that's when people are going to get really upset. That's my concern for him is like he ran a race and he did talk about issues local to New York, but he ran a national campaign in New York City. Right. And if you look at the results, if you look at the results, he won in the precincts with people who have really high education, who make over $100,000 a year, and who are predominantly white.
Yep.
The multiracial areas of New York City did not vote for him. The poor areas of New York City in the Democratic primary did not vote for him. So it's really interesting. I think it's really interesting to see how people vote. So I think, people who make under a certain amount of money, they voted for Cuomo or they voted for Adrian Adams, right?
And we've had this conversation so many times about Democrats and Republicans, people voting seemingly against their own
and then
interests.
so I think the term champagne socialist is a real thing. I think people who don't actually have that much of their problems may be perceived instead of actually living it. They want to save the world. And then the people who are actually living in that poverty, they're like, we've heard this before. We're going to vote for the person who we trust more to actually accomplish things.
Yeah.
And it goes back to even like the defund the police thing, like the Minneapolis precincts, the inner city, the poor areas voted overwhelmingly to keep the police, and the suburban white areas voted overwhelmingly to abolish the police in 2021. So it's very interesting to see. I'm just very curious to see how this works. He might be able to withstand that, but being the mayor is very unpopular.
He's also going to have a city council and a governor that are not necessarily going to feed into every pipe dream he has.
Especially the governor and the legislature.
Yeah. So I'm curious to see how he works with them.
Yeah.
How he if he can compromise. And the thing about him, the concern that I have about him that I was kind of trying to mention was I worry about his lack of experience too, because. Yeah. It's all well and good to have these ideas and to be a star and to be all over the media, but it's like, again, you're talking. I lived in New York. I lived in Jersey City, to be clear.
But you worked in
New York. I worked in New York City, so I was in the city every day. I've never felt unsafe in New York until the last 2 years when I go up and I visit all the time.
Right, you're always there.
And I don't feel unsafe in New York, to be clear. Yeah. But there's a lot more. It's dirtier in the last couple of years. Mm-hmm. There's a lot more, and I don't say this with any prejudice or hate. There's a lot more homeless people who clearly have mental health issues kind of out and about on the streets. That can be a safety concern. Yep. There's more of them sleeping in the subway, like a sanitation. The subway cost is going up from $2.75 an hour to $2.75 per ride to $3 per ride, and it's like the service is still shady. Very problematic. The infrastructure in New York City is underground, specifically with the subways. If you've seen those videos of flooding, that's been going on for years, but
it's exacerbated.
And it's these are the things that he's going to be in charge of. Right. And I'm worried that he's going to be spending too much of his time being a star and chasing a national profile rather than.
And that's why I'm not defending Eric Adams. I'm not.
But
Eric Adams has focused on some things like that, though.
But it's not great under Eric Adams, and it's worse under Eric Adams.
Well, he eradicated the rats, Kyle.
He certainly did not. I saw 3 of them the other day. I said hello.
Kyle, he declared mission accomplished.
Yeah.
Okay, well, he went after the rats, and then did he get rid of putting trash bags on the side of the street? It has to be in a container.
Ooh.
These are things that I've seen.
Well, if he did, people are not paying attention because
there were trash bags on the street.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was there the other day. Or I was there last week, and I was walking. Not that this is the mayor did this, but it smelled like a fresh fart for several blocks. Yeah. It was nasty, and I was like, "This is garbage or sewage or something." And it's these are the things that mamdani has been elected to take care of.
Yeah, right.
There are other issues like housing.
Right.
He went on CNN and was talking to Aaron Burnett about those grocery stores and was like, we want to see how it works. We want one in every borough. And if it tanks, it's something we won't pursue.
Which if there's only one in every borough, it will tank.
Well, we'll see. So it's this is one of those places where I'm like, New York City is a place where you can try stuff like this out. And when you talk about a big tent party, this is something else I said in that group chat.
I totally agree.
No, I know you do.
Yeah.
But I said this in the group chat. If you want a truly big, this is my wet dream is a 300 seat majority in the House of Representatives. That means you're going to have mamdanis and it means you're going to have manchins.
Right.
And the reason that Joe Manchin was such a thorn in all of our sides is because he was the kingmaker when you have a 50-50 Senate.
Right.
He gets to decide, and then Sinema kind of
joined in.
But take note, I'm saying Manchin, not Sinema, because Manchin was in such a deep red area.
Well, Manchin's consistent with that.
Sinema's stuff made no sense.
I've always said this with Manchin. His positions, he's been that way his entire career.
And I'm not singing his praises. You are a little bit. I don't like
Senate,
him.
There were 10 other Democratic senators who were just like him.
Right.
He's the last one. Sinema, it was all opportunistic.
Right.
That was,
But that's, again, when we talk about next year, it's I want that.
Yep.
I want and I don't have high hopes for Erie flipping the seat away from Mike Kelly, but
No.
I want a Democrat who's going to run a serious campaign and who's going to be like, yeah, I'm okay with you having guns, and yeah, I support
Right.
the
Run Dan Osborne.
I support the limit of Roe versus Wade, which is
15 weeks or 22 weeks.
22 weeks.
Roe versus Wade.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
And then in other areas, San Francisco,
Run mamdani.
run super liberal people. I want that because
Right.
then you get people in there when fascism, when they are all in lockstep on the other side and they are all fascists, which is such an overused word, but it's so true right now. And they are all in lockstep on that. When that is your enemy,
Yeah.
I will take people that I don't agree with on every issue that are on my side about what the future of this country means overall.
Yeah.
So Mamdani would not be my choice. I have, if I lived in New York, I had issues with the way he handled the globalized the Intifada stuff. I have issues with some of his past tweets. In a city with 1.3 million Jewish people, I'm concerned about the discomfort that many of them feel, and I'm not speaking for all of them. Many of them
Right.
are happy. Many of them feel discomfort. There are lots of things to think about, but this is the messy reality of politics.
Right.
And when we are a big tent party, like we were in 2008, and we won on the Obama wave, there is infighting, but it's productive infighting.
Well, and my favorite part is, and this is very I'm not supporting this, but in 2008, there were Democratic representatives in Alabama, Mississippi, and a couple other places who endorsed John McCain. That's how big our tent was.
Right.
I'm not saying we need that. I'm saying it's a very
but
polarized world.
But when a bill comes before a 300-seat majority Democratic Congress,
like the ACA,
and
it passes with one vote,
and
because a bunch of Democrats defect, that's okay.
And 40 people sit it out. Exactly.
So
it's
because they're with us on other things.
Yeah.
And it's just give and trade. That's the thing. And this is what we talked about. They don't have a governable majority ever. A governable majority is having 275 House seats.
Right.
Where, yes, the Democrat from Idaho, which we had one in 2008, which is insane, he doesn't have to vote for the ACA because his people think it's socialism. Now, obviously, his people also are benefactors of ACA.
Yeah, right.
But he can sit it out because the representative from Berkeley, California, can take the vote that he can't.
Yeah. So what I was saying to my friends in this group chat is to bring it back to the chat.
Yeah, the chat.
You and I have conversations about people like Mamdani, and
Yeah.
you and I don't see eye to eye fully for different reasons.
Right.
Then I don't see eye to eye with them fully.
Right.
But I think there's a lot of people who want one kind of Democrat consistently across the board. Do you know what I'm saying? They want all Democrats to follow a certain profile and to do a certain thing to be a certain way. That's not going to work.
If I lived in Brooklyn, I would vote for AOC. You know what I mean? I would have no problem with that because she gets reelected with 85% of the vote or whatever crazy number it is, right?
Right, but I'm saying
if I'm living in West Virginia, I have to vote for a West Virginia Democrat.
Right. and I'm saying I want a party.
Yeah.
My academic brain and my practical brain want a party where there's an AOC, where there's a Zohan Mamdani, where there's a Cory Booker, where there's a Chuck Schumer, a Hakeem Jeffries.
Right.
Theoretically, where there are people like Joe Manchin in deep red areas that still toe enough of the party line that they are still with us and can function as Democrats, even if it's not always, even if it's just I like this infrastructure bill. I like this thing about union, key parts of the agenda.
Conversely, I want more liberal Republicans. So when Joe Manchin doesn't vote for the gay marriage bill in whatever year it was, and then there were liberal Republicans at that point, they voted for it, right? Because there's a trade-off.
Are you talking about the Defense of Marriage?
No, there's one of the bills where the Democrats voted against it, and the conservative Dems voted against it, and there's 3 or 4 Republicans who voted for it, and it passed because of it. It wasn't a controversial thing, but that's what I mean.
Yeah.
There needs to be, if you were going to be a moderate, you need to be a true moderate. So, Susan Collins and Murkowski
is not a moderate.
Correct.
Yeah.
So
Murkowski's a fucking joke.
Well,
they both are.
Well, it's so sad.
But then look at Jeff Duncan in Georgia.
Yeah.
So I'm there are people who are side-eyeing him because he was a lieutenant governor of the state who was a Republican. He's just switched his party registration to Democrat.
Right.
So I want more of that. because
it would be easier for him to be a Republican in Georgia. And like, that's the thing that people don't get. They're like, oh, he's being a traitor. I'm like, no, he believes in the democratic principles that he's switching to, because why would you give up? You could win. He could have been the next governor of Georgia if he had just gone along with the craziness, and he decided against it.
Right, but and you can't say these things to people online who are on our side.
Well, like, it's not even online. It's
in person.
Real life,
like people,
Kyle.
I mean, people are like, oh, like he's a Republican who's switching his party registration to Democrat. Why should? And it's like, I'm begging people to like see the big picture.
Right.
That's my thing is like, I am begging people to see the big picture. If you are very, very progressive, I'm with you. I get it. There's like a lot of stuff that I align with you. If you're not, there's also a lot of stuff that I align with, and it's like, we need all of us to get stuff done. And we need all of us to beat the fascists.
Right.
And it's hard when you have to put all of that into one candidate and have a presidential candidate that reflects enough of that to win. But it's like, in each of these individual districts, states, whatever, like, what's the problem? So that's my little soapbox rant.
Oh, I'm with you
about that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you want to talk about Sydney Sweeney?
My jeans are blue.
Yeah, what do you want to say about it?
So,
starting off with that. So I want to say this. I have thoughts on this, but I have to be very careful how I articulate them.
Why do you feel that way?
Because I mean, you're dealing with a woman. It's a very sexualized ad.
Yes, it is.
And so I don't really want to get down that rabbit hole. So I think if everyone who's listening to this has probably heard the controversy of it, you'll go more into depth. My position on this ad is, the ad is really creepy. It's really weird, and it's really like sexual. There's a sexual undertone that I don't like when I'm watching it. Like, if I was sitting as a kid with my mom, like in a movie theater, and this came on, I would get pink probably. You know what I mean? Like, do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, this is uncomfortable. I think that we need to be very careful on how we're criticizing it, because the right wing has weaponized this, where it's saying, oh, well, the left doesn't think white women are beautiful or white women are attractive or things like that.
Which is obviously ridiculous.
Which is obviously correct. Which is obviously ridiculous. But I think we have to be very careful on how we message about this, because unfortunately or fortunately, depending on how you view it, people think Sydney Sweeney is attractive, and you got to be very careful.
She's a beautiful woman.
Yeah, she's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I'm not here gawking at celebrities, but like, it's a very weird ad. And now we have the president weighing in.
Of course.
Which, this is kind of my bottom line. And this is where, like, you and I don't know.
Weighing in at 180 pounds, right?
Yes. He's very fit. He's also 6'5". I'm so exhausted by literally everything being turned into a political weapon. And this is where I am just like, the ad's weird. The ad's creepy. I agree with that. It's not for me. I'm literally wearing American Eagle jeans right now, not because of Sydney Sweeney, but because that's where I get my jeans. I'm so tired of everything being a weaponization and a partisan battle.
Yeah.
And so this has just gotten out of hand. And the ad is weird. It's creepy. The jean part specifically is really weird. Like, the word jean, like, my jeans are blue. But like, ads in general are over sexualized, hypersexualized. There's all types of ads where it's like, ooh, like, there's an ad with Beyonce, and I'm not criticizing it because it's Beyonce, but like, the shot of her,
the Levi ad,
it's her butt.
Yeah.
There's no way you can avoid it. Like, the ad runs and it's Beyonce's butt in Levi's, and you're like, oh, I'm trying to skip through this.
Yeah.
I think that's the problem that we're talking about.
Well, so some of what you said I agree with, and a lot of it I don't.
Yeah,
because
that's
I
fine.
don't think the issue with this ad is the sexualization. I think the issue with this ad is,
if we make things partisan about sex, everyone has sex, right? That's what I'm trying to say.
Well,
does that make sense? Well, not the incels, but
what side do those people fall on?
No, well, right. Everyone has sex. That's what I'm trying to say. So like, everyone is like, most people are attracted to people, right? Like, that's a thing, sexualization.
Right.
So my thing is, if we start making,
but we're not.
No, we're not. They're making it, and then we have to be on defensive. If we start making beautiful women, no matter what they look like, into political bludgeons, it's going to be very uncomfortable.
I think my problem with the ad, I have problems with the ad, and I have problems with the reaction from the left, because again,
and the right.
Well, obviously the right. That goes without saying
right.
for me. But my issues with the left's reaction to this ad. Okay, so my problem with the ad itself is it's coded language. It's a dog whistle. It's a racial dog whistle.
It is.
Just like when Obama was elected, just like when Biden was elected, and the pendulum swings, and it's cool to have DEI programs, and not DUI, DEI, and like feature like diversity in your ads. Like it has swung back the other way, and the language being used. I'm Sydney Sweeney. I have good genes, making specific reference to her blue eyes, blonde hair, white skin.
I mean, she literally says my eyes are blue, right?
They're not talking about her skin, obviously. They're not talking about her skin. It is implied. And this is language that is as old as time itself.
Yeah.
And the right knows that. They know that. They are programmed to know it. It's like, it's intrinsic. It's within these... not all the right. There's a lot of people in the middle who are like, I don't understand like what the big deal is, and they genuinely don't understand. But like the right side of the political spectrum talks like this. It's like welfare queens. It's the same coded language. The right knows this, and they are waiting for us to be triggered. And so many people on our side are taking the bait, even if it's the right reaction. Like academically, the people who are suddenly screaming racist, racism, even though that's correct, it's giving them what they want. And then it gives license for people like JD Vance to weigh in and say, this is I thought the left would maybe learn from last year, but we're now criticizing a beautiful white woman in an ad, and they get to make it.
Correct. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Right.
They get to turn it into what they want to turn it into, and then we are once again on defense. I don't think there's anything wrong with critiquing the ad. I don't think there's anything wrong with calling out what the issue in the ad is, which is it is racially based. But like the people who are hand-wringing online and the people who are melting down and like having tantrums and thinking that their voice is going to change. Like, it's the people who still think like, if I raise a fuss about this, I'll be apologized to. It's not happening.
Right.
So like, this is the era we are in. And I'm not saying like voting for Kamala Harris would have made the Sydney Sweeney ad not a thing, but it's like,
I think it goes to a whole nother conversation about culture too.
It's begging people to understand the assignment and see the big picture.
I think the problem that I have, and this is my position on a lot of things, there's human nature, right? Mm-hmm. Everyone is attracted to people. That's a thing. But the hyper sexualization of everything, guys and girls, it's not just girls, is a little out of control recently. And you can see it in the demographic breakdowns, like young people aren't getting together, young people aren't marrying, young people, they don't meet people other than online, which there's nothing wrong with meeting people online, but like they're not being social. And then you have just this avalanche of sexual advertisement where it's very like, okay, that's a lot of like, I just showed it to Hannah. I was watching a YouTube video on the War of 1812. And it was
sounds sexy.
Yeah, it was really hot. It was like really boring. It was like, and then the ships landed in battle of and like that's it. And then an ad came on, and it was for a women's razor, which I was like, why am I getting an ad for a women's razor? But that's okay
because you're a woke lefty beta male.
But like, it shows like a crotch shot of a girl, like in like not a thong but pretty close to it, with like pubic hair out, and like you can like it's doesn't leave a lot for the imagination, right?
Sure.
And I was like, what is going on? Like, why is this part of the ad? Like, this is not something new. But like, I like went and I showed it to Hannah. I was like, this is weird, right? She's like, this is weird. The over sexualization is crazy. The amount of sex bots that follow people is crazy. The amount of people on OnlyFans is crazy. And this is like a whole thing where I think as a society, we do need to have a conversation where it's like, no, go out and meet people and like be social. And I have a really hard time when I see these ads, because I'm just like, what another weird freaking, like her ad is like very sexual.
Yeah, and I mean,
Like, it's even her voice. Like, I've seen her in movies. One of my
Sydney
favorite.
Sweeney?
Yeah, one of my favorite movies.
the irony
she's
of all
in it.
this is that she is a prominent character in The Handmaid's Tale. Like,
Yeah, but like she's one of my favorite. Like, one of her movies with Glenn Powell is one of my favorite movies. But it is a chick flick. But like, it's really good. I love it. It's so. It's
I don't
so
have
dumb.
any feelings on her.
No,
I know she's a
fine.
Republican.
It doesn't matter.
So I'm
if
like,
she's a
okay.
Republican, whatever. But like, the thing is, like, the more we go down this rabbit hole, I'm just tired of politics seeping into literally everything that we do.
Yeah.
I want to watch a movie and not think about if this person's a Trump supporter, which I'm sure that she is.
I want to, but I don't know if
I
I'm
get it.
capable.
Yeah, no,
Can I talk about something completely unrelated to
Yeah.
this to kind of close this out?
Do it.
So
I don't know if what I said makes sense. So we can
I think
cut
it
that
does.
if we need
No.
to.
I think it does. I think it's tangentially related to like everything. I mean, like I'm very much about like there's this like I'm in the mindset of like when it comes to sex and like sexuality.
Yeah.
Like I think people should live the life that they want to live sexually. So
Yeah.
and I know you agree, but
Yeah.
I'm like, so I don't have a problem with the amount of people on OnlyFans. I don't have a problem with like
Yeah.
porn. I don't have a problem with like there's like this sudden like Gen Z backlash against open relationships. I have no issue. It's that live your life, but like I do see your point about like the hypersexualization of like media.
Of everything.
Yeah. But like
She's selling bars of soap with her bath water in.
Yeah, that's weird.
Like, that's weird.
Weird.
That's just weird. And it's not like she's just trying to make a buck. I don't hate her for that. Like, if they're gonna give her a shit ton of money to be in an advertisement about that, who cares?
Yeah.
But like, it's weird. People are buying that. Like, I saw it at Walmart the other
Yeah.
day, and I was like, why would I buy this? Like, why? Like, what would I do with this?
it's odd.
I'm gonna go buy my Dove sensitive skin soap. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't need Sydney Sweeney bath, which it's not real.
Well, the thing that it's not related to this, but anybody who knows me knows I'm a big Kelly Clarkson fan.
Yeah, right.
And her ex-husband just passed away yesterday, and a couple nights ago, this sort of ties to your point, but it's also not totally related. She canceled the remainder of her Las Vegas residency, which I had tickets to see in 2 weeks. So I see this, and she canceled the opening 2 shows as well because she was having vocal issues, which, you know, that queen,
happens.
she never does. But like it happened, and, you know, it sucks. And she canceled those shows literally as doors were opening. So like there were people, a whole bunch of my friends were out there like seeing her.
Yeah.
And they flew out there, and she canceled like right as the doors were opening. That's
a
a little.
little-
Yeah, Adele did the same thing a few years ago.
I don't like that.
I don't like it either. However, we kind of caught that the dates on the tickets and Ticketmaster had changed. We were like, why did our tickets change to 2026? And we were all like, oh, literally my first thought was, oh, Brandon must have died. Because we're big fans of hers. We know like sort of
you're
through
part
the
of the
world,
fan
like
club,
we know he has not been well.
Right.
Through like context clues or whatever. And I was like, something must have happened. She's going to obviously have to be there for her kids. There's a lot of like end of life arrangements and like funerals, and her kids are not going to be okay for a while. Like, the point that I'm trying to make is that they changed, and then Kelly made a statement on social media and was like, hey, I have to postpone the rest of my shows. Like the father of my children has been ill. He had not passed yet, but she was like, thank you for your understanding. The number of comments of people melting down. This is, first of all, my shows were 2 weeks from now. It was next weekend. Yeah. This was on Wednesday night. So she had shows scheduled for tonight and tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's cutting it a little close, but it's also like that's enough notice where it's like most people would probably, if they're flying out there specifically to see her, would probably travel Thursday, maybe Friday morning.
Yeah.
The number of people that were commenting about how crappy it was and give people their money back, which first of all, you can ask for a refund. I got a refund. The people who need these celebrities to hold their hand through every possible scenario and make that celebrity responsible for their happiness.
Well, it's the same thing with politicians.
Yes, it is.
Right.
But also like you were talking about like the Sydney Sweeney of it all, and people just kind of like glued to the internet.
Yeah.
And like the people who need their handheld by these celebrities, and it's like, oh, well, some people, if you begin a sentence with some people at the beginning of a meltdown, I'm automatically more likely to tune you out. Because it's like, if you chose to, like, I think one of them was like, oh, I know some people who are in Vegas to see you already. Like they're already out there. And it's like, okay, if you got there 3 days early, that's not within her control. She cannot control also the fact that her husband is about to die, her ex-husband is about to die of skin cancer.
That's terrible.
So it's like the everybody needing to be everything for everyone all the time.
People need to go outside.
Do you see how this relates to the Sydney Sweeney thing? It's not the same, and it's a different point, but it's
the same point.
The living on the internet and the living in the comment sections of like, we are going to make sure that you can do no right.
No, but like, that's exactly what I'm saying. Like, I was reading a news article on Instagram, and the first comment was a account, and it was like, subscribe to my OnlyFans. I'm trying to get my green card to the United States. I'm a Latina mommy or something like that. It was the first comment, and had like 10,000 likes on it. And I was like, what is going on? I'm literally watching a video of like a mom being arrested for being an illegal immigrant. And this is the first comment.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is like, people are too chronically online. I've like made a pact with myself. Like, I can be online. I want to be online, but like, I can't do it anymore. It's driving me insane because people are so, like you said, everything's about them. They're only showing you, they're only there either to complain, like viciously complain,
right,
or my life's awesome and you should all be jealous.
But it's the point specifically that I'm making is and you're absolutely right that it's about politicians too. Although politicians have more obviously sway,
of
but
course,
it's like
right,
the projection of your personal unhappiness onto others.
People are looking for someone to blame.
Yes,
for everything.
That's a line in Wicked.
But like that's kind of the bottom line. No matter how shitty your life is, and like I have, I have like chronic back pain, right?
Yeah.
I don't sit here and I know that it could have been prevented. I know that in my head. I know what I could have done differently. I don't sit here and like blame certain people.
Kelly Clarkson cancels her residency and you don't go, some people flew out to Las Vegas and they have chronic back pain and you didn't think about them.
Right. Like exactly. Like
they're talking about the money and the expenses. And I understand it to an extent, but it's also like she announced this residency was canceled. I went in my Delta account and I got my points back. Mm-hmm. I went to Expedia. I canceled my hotel reservation. The refund has already hit. Yeah. I went to Ticketmaster and canceled both of my tickets to see her in 5 minutes.
Yeah. Good
like,
for you.
And they were like, oh, you need to like post instructions on how to get her. And it's like, no, figure it out. Right. You're an adult.
Well, you're buying a product. You're buying entertainment.
And you want, but like, it's also like Kelly Clarkson is a human being. You want a product. Right. You want somebody to say the right things, do the right things for you personally at all times.
This is what I'm saying. So I agree. I think I'm picking up what you're putting down. The sportification of, so like you and I weren't raised like, oh, go Steelers, you know what I mean?
Right.
We had different upbringings like that. But like the sportification of politics and pop culture like has become kind of insane.
Yeah.
Where it's like my team, yes, and then no, you're wrong because of this. And it's there's a problem with our society.
Yeah.
And it needs to be addressed, and I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Someone's buying those OnlyFans for that Latina mom.
Somebody's buying those soaps with
someone's buying those soaps,
yeah.
Right? And someone's buying the I get like the original ad for Sydney Sweeney for the soap didn't have her bathwater in it, and I would get the ads because they're targeted to me. Like it would be her in a bathtub with her boobs out, and it would be like, I love Dr. Sasquatch soap. And you're like, okay, I see how this might work, right? Men need soap. Men often don't shower. I get that.
She speaks in cursive.
Right. I get that. That one, I was like, okay, that makes sense. Like, whatever. Didn't buy it. Still Dove, extra sensitive for your boy. But, and then it got like worse. And it's like, it has a drop of my bathwater in it. And you're like, oh, like this is weird.
Yeah.
And that's all tied together. Culture, politics, pop culture, race and sex all work together. And that's the long story of the short, I think, here.
Yep. And with Sydney Sweeney's bathwater, we bid you adieu for this week. We crammed a lot into this episode, but I'm looking forward to continuing.
Yeah, we'll be back next week.
Yep.
Awesome. Thanks for having me again, Kyle.
You're like basically the co-host now, so.
I know. I'm so cool.
All right. Bye.
Bye.